Today is Friday, July 3rd, 2026. Welcome to This Week in Natural Refrigerants News, where we recap the top stories on naturalrefrigerants.com. This podcast is generated and read by artificial intelligence and may contain errors. We're your hosts, AT&MO, and the articles for today's podcast were organized by naturalrefrigerants.com's managing editor and written by its writers. You can find links to each article in the show notes. So imagine trying to cool a server rack that is so hot it could literally just melt its own wiring, and doing that using nothing but CO2.
Right, yeah, because the heat density coming off these modern AI nodes it's pushing traditional air cooling way past its breaking point. Which actually brings us to that Eminem Carnot retrofit at the Evocative Edge Collocation Data Center out in Santa Clara.
Oh yeah, they brought in those CO2 chillers for, a massive 1.3 megawatt IT load rack?
Exactly. And it's fascinating how they deployed it. They used these rear door heat exchangers right at the rack level.
Right. Instead of blasting cold air across a giant room, which is sort of like trying to cool a marathon runner by, putting a fan in the next room, they strapped a radiator directly to the runner's back, basically.
Yeah, you capture that extreme heat exactly where it's generated before it even has a chance to bleed into the white space. It's a really surgical approach to thermodynamics, and by doing that, they fit 20 IT racks into just 700 square feet.
And it worked right, because they dropped the site's PUE from around 1.8 down to below 1.5.
Yeah.
But, if AI heat loads keep aggressively scaling up like this, even these advanced CO2 liquid loops will hit a mechanical wall eventually.
Definitely. Which is why we saw so many completely radical, brand new cooling cycles pitched at Atmosphere America recently.
Yeah.
Bypassing vapor compression entirely is kind of the next frontier.
Like what kind of cycles are we talking about here?
Well, you had startups like Pascal working with CO2 absorbed into porous solids and MI mix systems using modular semiconductors. But the one making really serious waves is magnetherm. They use magnetocaloric cooling with this lanthanum iron silicon alloy.
Okay, wait, I have to stop you there for a second. How do you actually cool a supermarket hydronic loop using metal and magnets?
It is wild, but it all comes down to atomic alignment. When you apply a magnetic field to this specific metal alloy, you essentially force its atoms to violently align.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and that alignment rejects heat into the surrounding fluid. But the second you remove that magnetic field, the atoms instantly scatter into chaos.
Oh, I see. And that absorbs the heat.
Exactly. That sudden scattering absorbs massive amounts of heat from the fluid, which rapidly cools it.
So you are completely bypassing the gas to liquid phase change entirely. And it actually works out in the field, too, because magnetherm showed 15% better efficiency than a comparable propane setup in those Roe supermarket tests.
Right, exactly.
So if you completely eliminate the compressor and the phase change, does this basically just render traditional racks completely obsolete?
In theory, yeah, it removes massive mechanical limitations. But to actually scale this tech, these startups desperately need partnerships with established OEMs,
Good luck getting established OEMs to focus on radical R&D right now, though. They are suffering from some intense regulatory whiplash. Just look at the AHRI petition.
Oh, right, the petition against the EPA.
Yeah, AHRI, Hardy, and other trade groups are challenging the EPA over revisions to the Technology Transitions Rule.
Right, because the EPA is delaying the 150 and 300 GWP limits for supermarket systems and remote condensing units. They're temporarily allowing up to 1,400 GWP until 2027. And FMI actually supports the delay for grocers who just need more time.
I understand needing time, but I really had to push back on the EPA's logic here for you all working in the field. By delaying these deadlines, the EPA is artificially propping up demand for legacy refrigerants.
Yeah, while under the AIM Act, the supply of those exact same refrigerants is still legally dropping.
Exactly. So if demand is extended while supply shrinks, isn't that mathematically guaranteed to just spike service costs for technicians out in the field?
It absolutely creates a severe market bottleneck. Manufacturers who have already retooled their factories for next-gen natural refrigerant equipment are now basically staring at a market that's being told it's legally okay to wait.
Yeah, it's a mess. But, while stationary commercial equipment is sort of stuck in this regulatory mud, the mobile sector is just actively shrinking natural refrigerant systems down to force adoption anyway.
Oh, for sure. Volkswagen just surpassed 1 million EVs globally equipped with CO2 heat pumps. The packaging efficiency they've achieved is just incredible.
VW has been aggressively optimizing that design right, getting the R744 compressor weight down to, 7.1 kilograms?
Just 7.1 kilograms, yeah. And in Canada, the ID.4 now offers an optional Hanon Systems CO2 heat pump for $1,500 Canadian dollars.
But wait a second, VW is ending ID.4 production down in Chattanooga, right? So if U.S. dealers suddenly don't have vehicles requiring R744, they aren't going to buy the specialized service equipment.
That is a highly valid concern, actually. In the automotive space, service infrastructure pretty much entirely dictates adoption.
Right, because without the cars forcing the issue, you really risk creating a temporary vacuum in technician readiness across the broader North American market.
Exactly. But, that obsession with packaging highly efficient natural refrigerant systems into these tight, self-contained footprints, it's bleeding directly into commercial HVAC now.
Oh, you mean like System Air launching the Geniox HPDFN over in Europe?
Yeah, it's an air handling unit with a fully integrated R290 heat pump. It's hitting a cup of 16 in heating mode, which is just huge.
Wow, COPPA 16. That cuts operating costs by what, like 40%
Right.
compared to traditional systems running external condensers?
Up to 40%. Yeah.
I sort of look at this unit like it's the USB flash drive of commercial HVAC
Yeah.
because it's completely self-contained, it's factory sealed, and PFAS free. You literally just drop it in and power it up.
Right. There is absolutely zero on-site refrigerant piping required to install it, which perfectly sidesteps the severe skilled labor shortages hitting the industry right now.
Not to mention practically eliminating the risk of field leaks. It really makes you wonder, though, if a factory-sealed R290 system eliminates on-site piping, slashes operating costs, and bypasses the labor shortage entirely, how long until this kind of plug-and-play architecture goes from being just a premium option to the absolute mandatory baseline for every single commercial footprint? And honestly, it makes you wonder if these self-contained units could eventually become decentralized micro-utilities, like feeding waste heat back into the local neighborhood grid on their own.
That would completely rewrite how we design urban infrastructure.
This is AT&MO, and this has been the week in Natural Refrigerant News.